pleasure to welcome each of you to this engaging and informative workshop on product design, which is hosted by thingQbator Cohort 6. Your presence today underscores your commitment to innovation and your desire to explore the captivating world of product design. Today, we are honored to have with us a distinguished mechanical engineering professional, Mr. Rajshekharan Singh, who epitomizes the power of teamwork and believes in the symphony of collaborative effort over the solo act. With a remarkable journey spanning the automotive industry, Mr. Singh has consistently demonstrated his expertise in various facets, including design, manufacturing, and aftermarket technologies. His invaluable experience is a product of his dedication and the pivotal roles he has played with renowned automotive chains such as Daimler India, Volvo, Ford, and Tata. Mr. Singh's reputation as a seasoned industry expert and mentor presides him, making him the perfect guide for our workshop today. So, without further ado, let's commence this adventure into the world of product design and innovation. We can't wait to see the incredible ideas and designs that will emerge from this time together. We welcome you, sir. Was I audible, sir?
Yes, Yukta, you are. Uh, Raz, over to you. I'm not sure, but I'm not able to hear you.
Apologies for the delay. Yeah, so let's begin. So welcome everyone to this product development workshop. So it will be a 3-day workshop will be where you'll be learning a lot about product development concepts, market research analysis, competitor analysis, along with some CAD tools, electronics basics, etc. So we have a lot of topics in store for you guys. So stay tuned, and if you feel like you're not understanding anything or if you have any doubts whatsoever, be sure to unmute yourselves and you can just speak out your doubts. I'll be happy to answer them. Yeah. So first of all, let's start with a brief introduction of myself. So I'm Rajshekharan Singh. I'm an automotive engineer. Currently, I'm working for Daimler India Commercial Vehicles based out of Chennai. Previously, I've worked for other automotive brands like Tata Motors, Ford, and I've also done projects for Volvo. That was in Bangalore, yeah. So that is a brief description of my profile. Apart from that, I'm really into the automotive sector and I'm a big fan of the product development concepts. And that is not just limited to the automotive sector. I love studying about products in general. Yeah. So this is our agenda for the meeting. So day one, we'll be going through market analysis and project management. Day two will cover concepts of mechanical design along with basics of electronics. And the last day, we'll have our hands-on hardware design exercise, and you'll get to know a brief about the different kinds of design tools that are there available in the market currently.
Sir, your screen is not visible.
Okay, is it visible now?
No, sir, I can see a blank screen.
Okay. Share. It's visible now?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay. Thank you for that update, Yukta. Yeah, so this is our agenda for the 3 days. So I'll just repeat it again. For day one, we'll be going over market analysis and project management. Day two will deal with mechanical design and basics of electronics. And the last day, we'll be going over some hardware design exercises, and you'll get to know a little bit about all the different kind of CAD tools, design tools that are available for you guys to build products on. So moving ahead, the product development journey. So product development is a very complex journey. It is filled with a lot of stages, lot of phases, and it is a dynamic journey. It's not like once you establish a process, once you build a product, the story is over. No, it is a continuous learning, continuous adapting process. So we'll focus on two crucial aspects today. First will be market research, and the second will be project management. So these two are very integral concepts when it comes to the product development journey. So we'll be starting off with market analysis and competitive research. So what and why? Why does market research matters? What exactly is market research and how do we leverage it? So market research is basically the compass that guides a product development. It provides essential insights into customer needs, preferences, and market dynamics. So before starting off building any product, so you need to first understand whether the product you're building, whether the product that you're designing or the idea that you're having in your head, does it solve a problem? Does it meet the customer's needs? Is there a demand for this product or this solution in the market? So there are various examples where we see people, designing products, building products without absolutely understanding whether there is a requirement for this product in the market or not. And these are the kind of products that are generally termed to fail. So let's keep this an interactive session. So I'll be asking some questions in between. So please unmute your mics and answer. So I guess since most of you guys are from India, I guess you guys must have come across this very interactive show which has been the buzz lately, which is Shark Tank. I guess anyone would like to say whether they have not seen Shark Tank yet? Anyone? Okay. So yeah, so if you've gone through the journey of Shark Tank and the different kind of entrepreneurs that are coming on the show and displaying their products, you might have seen a lot of the products which got completely ridiculed by the judges and completely made fun of. One such was the zipline kind of product that came up. So he did build a product, he put in marketing, he put in advertising, he conducted market research and all, but what he basically didn't do was understand whether the customer required this product or not. So market research, if done properly, his market research was clearly lacking by the comments of the judges and the obvious reasons, obviously. So yeah, so market research plays a very important role when you're going to build a product. So because it will guide you on each and every step of the product development journey, what to innovate, which solutions you can go with, which solutions you need to reject, what are the design development stages that you're going to go through, what are the features you need to adapt in your product, be it software or electronics or mechanical. Each product will go through these cycles, and today we'll be discussing in detail about what are the different steps that we need to consider. So before going into the technical details of market research, let's look at a few success examples of why market research was important and how brands leveraged it. So first of all, would be the craze of the week of this week, that is the launch of the Apple iPhone 15. So iPhones have been all over the market. They've conquered the market completely since a lot many years. And it's just not the iPhone. You can talk about even the iPod, which was revolutionary. You have the tablets, the computers, etc. So most of the products that Apple has come out with have been revolutionary. They have completely changed the game. So in 2007, Apple introduced the first iPhone, a product that completely redefined the smartphone industry. Apple's market share revealed that consumers were frustrated with clunky mobile devices, wanted an all-in-one solution. The iPhone was designed with a user-friendly touchscreen, seamless integration, access to vast ecosystem of apps. So these are just the general terms. But what I believe what Apple really cracked is something we refer to as the golden circle. Now, what exactly is the golden circle? I'll just explain it to you with a brief diagram. So let's consider three circles here.
Excuse me, sir, you're not audible.
Sure, 1 second. Yeah, right now I'm audible, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, actually, I wasn't saying anything. I was just focusing on drawing the diagram. Sorry for that.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So as I was talking about, there is something called a golden circle, which is how brands like brands such as successful brands such as Apple, or if you talk about different products like Mercedes Benz. So these are in the clothing garment, you have Nike. So how these brands reach out to customers or how they understand customers is basically by interacting with them using this golden circle. So what is this exactly, this golden circle? So it's basically three circles. And as you can see from the diagram, each of these circles have a certain text: what, how, and why. So this what, how, and why is a very simplified version of how our brain communicates. So can anyone tell me, like, what do you think the companies, how will they leverage this what, how, and why? Anyone? Like, what do exactly these three circles here are specifying? You guys can just unmute and put out your answers.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah. So as I was saying, so brands, successful brands such as, Apple, Nike, Mercedes Benz, so they have the monopoly when it comes to their respective markets. And what I was referring to was these brands communicate with customers using these three circles. So does anyone have any idea about this topic? Like, what exactly do I mean when I'm saying that these brands communicate only using these three circles? Okay, so Shweta says, how can we resolve it? Okay. Anyone else? Anyone else who wants to unmute and talk about it? Or you can just put it out in the chat box also if you want.
So I think uh, why are we building it? How
Okay.
can we build it? And what is
Okay.
that? What can what is the
Okay.
effective method?
So what do you think should be the chronological sequence of this circle? Like, what should come first, what should come second, and what should come third?
So I think why should be the first thing that we should
Okay, very
focus on.
good, very good. And second should be how, and third should be what.
Yes, sir.
Correct? And why do you think this should be done?
Because I think that is the integral part in finding our solution. Like why are we doing it?
Okay. You are partly correct, yes, but I would say that would be a very vague answer. That would, by vague answer, I'm not discrediting your answer. What I'm trying to say is the answer why the priority should be such. I'll explain it to you with an example. So when Apple launched the Apple iPod, anyone here who has used an iPod? Okay, whatever. So yeah, so when Apple came out with the iPod, there were two other companies that also came out with MP3 players. Microsoft came out with Zune, and there was one more product. I forgot the name actually. So basically, these three companies came out with their products. So all three of them were MP3 players. However, today it feels very absurd to think that Microsoft would have had an MP3 player, or some other company too came out with MP3 players. When we talk about mobile MP3 players, we only know about iPods. Exactly, correct, right? So that is because Apple was communicating from the inside out. It was communicating with why, how, and what instead of what, how, and why. And the answer to that is, when you're buying a product, let's say you're buying clothes, okay? So you might encounter, two jeans or two shoes. However, one shoe might be priced less. It might have been made with, better quality fabric, etc. But sometimes what happens, you take gut decisions. Sometimes you say to yourself that this doesn't feel right, and you buy the other product because your gut says so. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sure you might have all of you might have encountered this. So the reason with that is for that is even our brain communicates in the exact same manner. So basically, the most newest brain, the newest section of our brain, that is the what part. What part is basically our most newly developed brain, and it is the like outer neocortex of our brain. However, the why and the how part are the inner limbic brains. So what happens, the what part of our brain or the neocortex, it only can take rational decisions. It can only apply logical reasoning and solve complex data, etc. However, your entire behavior, your entire mindset is completely based on why and how, or the inner, that is the inner functioning of your brain that is responsible for your behavior. So what happens, let's say I'm running an ad agency, or I'm running a market agency for both Apple and for Microsoft. So you might have seen advertisements for both companies, I guess. So when you see the advertisements for both companies, what you'll find, Apple communicates in a way where it tries to connect with the user on a personal level. Like it will show you that it is building products not for specifications, features, cameras, etc. What they'll show is, a famous personality using it. Like for Nike, for example, we had Air Jordans. So whoever is a fine fan of Michael Jordan will want to buy that shoe because he connects to Michael Jordan on a personal level. He wants the part of that success that Michael Jordan has. So Apple also created a similar niche out of their product, wherein people start considering Apple as a symbol of success, because they communicated why they are building their products. Why Apple is building their products? Because their products enhance human creativity. It is meant for creative people. It is meant for intelligent genius people. And so this is the kind of communication that I was referring to. So these three is called the golden circle, and all luxury brands, whether it be Nike or Mercedes Benz, they communicate in the exact same way. Whereas too, you have other brands, like Xiaomi, Realme. You won't ever see their advertisement campaigns appealing to people because they'll come out with saying, yeah, we have built a great phone. It has 200 megapixel camera, 500 megapixel camera. Most of the people don't even know that 200 megapixel, what exactly is the difference between a 200 megapixel and 220 megapixel. So they just see the numbers on the screen, and they don't relate to those phones, those products on a personal level. So when you're starting your market research, so the very first thing that needs to be defined is the why portion of it. Then you need to understand how you're going to do the market research, how you're going to build the product. And the last thing should be, yeah, we're building a product. That is what we're doing. So any doubts till now?
Sir, I had a question.
Yeah,
Okay, so you told that when we are doing the market research and building
yeah,
the product, those three questions should be our
yes,
golden circles, right? So
yeah,
while doing the thing, while trying to answering those three questions, should we
Yeah.
neglect our gut voice in these kind of situations? Like you mentioned in your
No,
explanation part.
gut decisions, I won't say you should ignore it, but what I would say is that you should not take these, like suppose if it is a very critical decisions. For example, if you're, let's say, building a car, you want to go with hybrid or electric vehicle, and your gut says I should go with electric vehicle. So what I would suggest, surround yourselves with people, have an interactive conversation with them, and then come to the consensus, come to the answer as a collective. Because sometimes what happens, yeah, your gut decision might be correct, it might be incorrect, but when you hear other people's perspectives, when you hear about different trends, etc., so that
Yeah.
time automatically your gut decisions may change, and that is also a part of market research, understanding customer feedback, collaborating with your team. I'll be coming to those steps later on. So yeah, that would be my answer. So if you are designing a product and you have a gut feeling which is going against your rational mind, I would suggest either yes, you can always go for your gut feeling and take a risk. But my opinion would be, if you need to have a team. First of all, you cannot build a product completely alone. You need to have a very dedicated team with you. So I would always suggest consult with team, consult with your partners. If you're a founder, have some co-founders. Always have a word of mouth about your product, about your ideas, about your design.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, I hope I answered your question. Any other doubts? Okay. So another thing what Apple's market research revealed during their initial market research period was that when these phones started coming out, we never had these, online portals like Flipkart, Amazon, etc. These brands were just very in their early stages. So a lot of the phone shopping that we used to do used to be from our local retail outlets. And these local retail outlets will mostly have businessmen who won't be that tech savvy, who will just know the outline specifications of each and every phone. They won't have complete knowledge about their phones, and they would be selling, let's say, 10, 20, 30 brands under one roof. So it is not even possible for the retailer to have so much knowledge about each and every product. So Apple found that this is an opportunity that it can leverage, and that is why it started coming out with its own customized stores that we see as Apple stores, which recently one was opened in Mumbai also, pretty big one. So just give me 1 minute. Yeah. So that is when Apple found out, yeah, fine, there is an opportunity where we are not having proper retail stores for phones. So why don't we come out with our own retail stores that will only cater to our brand? And this would serve to have a lot of number of benefits compared to selling your products in the retail store. Number one being, it's just your brand under the roof. So anybody who walks into the store is just coming to buy your Apple phones. He won't be distracted by any other brands, any other person giving extra discounts on some other brands, etc. Second, you would have complete control over your inventory. So how much inventory comes in, how much inventory goes out, what should be the stock that needs to be there inside the store at all available times to cater the customer's needs. If it is excess, if it is less, so we can balance that out also. So it solves the inventory problem. And third, everyone working in the Apple store are laser focused about just the Apple products. So they will be knowing these Apple products on a much higher level as compared to any retail marketer who is, selling 30, 40 brands, 30, 40 products. And fourth, you can easily catch customer feedback. You can understand customers' expectations, because when these customers are coming to your store, they'll be coming and surely they'll be providing some feedback about their past experience, or if they have some any queries about the product. So you can always track these down easily, because for a retail shop, it is not possible. Someone who's selling 20, 30 brands, 30, 40 mobile different, builds of mobiles to, note down each and every parameter or each and every criticism or feedback that the customer has about the phone. So these are some of the problems that Apple stores solved by conducting this market research and finding out that retail stores are not as they should be for the customer's delight. And another point I missed was most retail shops, especially in India, even we see it in India today, and even foreign. Uh, Previously, it used to be, like I said, 30, 40 brands. So it used to be a crammed up space. People did not have the space to walk in because retail marketers, someone who's just starting off a business, he won't have the kind of capital to set up a huge designer store where people can walk in, come in freely, check out the products. So it always used to be a hurry burry kind of a thing. So that also it elevated customer experience also, and that is why we see the amount of rush that Apple stores generate just by launching a new product. Everybody is excited to go to the store. Even in today's modern age where we have all the online facilities available, people are still very excited to go to an Apple store. So it's about the experience. And this experience you can only gather through regular feedback, conducting regular market analysis, research, and always be in a mindset to gather data, accept criticism. So same thing was done by Netflix too. So Netflix also is also a pretty success story. Although yeah, I completely agree, Netflix hasn't been doing well for the past few years, but the way it disrupted the movie DVD market. So we all know the entire generation. I'm not sure about how many of you. I guess you guys. So just a question for how, like, which year are you all guys in? Like second year of engineering, third year of engineering, or some other field like that? So
Third
what
year.
is the so most of you guys are from third year, right? So I'm not sure whether you guys did go through the VCR tapes or DVD generation. You might have. Good for you then. So yeah, how to watch movies in the 2000s? It was generally a two-step process. Either you buy a ticket, go to the movies, or second you go to the store, get your DVDs, get your CDs, and all of that. So it was a hassle. So Netflix did a market research. There was no service that was door delivering or providing customers with movies to their sofas, to their rooms. So it found this gap in the market, and it said, fine, I'll take up the responsibility of let's say enhancing the customers movie viewing experience, that anybody can watch a movie or any movie from the comfort of their homes. And I don't know if many of you know this. Netflix didn't start out as an online platform or an online data library. So what they used to do is they used to get the DVDs of these movies and they used to mail the customers with their DVDs. So it was like a door-to-door service. And then slowly and gradually, as they started making profits and they saw how the internet was creating an impact in the entire business sector, so then slowly and gradually they moved into the internet field. And even after moving towards the internet field, they didn't just stop at selling already produced movies. What they instead went ahead and did. One second, let me just close these captions. It's a little irritating. Yeah. Yeah, so basically they came out with personal recommendations. So they always they created a platform which continuously collects customer data, their viewing choices, etc., and then created an algorithm which automatically suggests them with recommendations what they would like to watch, etc. Next, the last example before we get into the technical details would be Airbnb's customer-centric research. So Airbnb, so how many of you guys know the full form of Airbnb? Anyone? Yeah, you can Google, but yeah, if anybody knows genuinely, please unmute yourselves and speak out if you know the full form of Airbnb.
Air, bed, and breakfast.
Yeah, that's a good answer. That is the right answer. So do you know how Airbnb was founded?
Two people in the California, the coastal areas where there was
Yeah.
shortage of beds, and they tried
Okay.
to rent out
Yeah.
places.
Absolutely, absolutely. So basically, the idea behind their understanding of the gap in the market was people, as the years were going by, we had a younger generation of crowd who was coming in, and this younger generation didn't care about a lot of facilities, fancy check-ins, fancy room service, etc. Most people who were traveling for work, they just wanted a place to crash in for the night or for 2 3 nights. And also there was a segment of a group of people, like for example when we go out for vacations nowadays, our generation mostly goes likes going out in groups, with your friends and all. So group accommodation was also a very big hassle when it came to the hotel industry. For example, if you are, let's say, going out with a group of 6 to 8 people, so on an average you need to rent out 3 to 4 rooms, which would elevate your cost up like anything. Whereas air, so what they thought of is that why not introduce the concept of holiday homes. So basically they didn't revolutionize the hoteling and the entire industry. They just consolidated the holiday homes. So the concept of holiday homes was like, it's prehistoric, it has always been there. However, the new customer wasn't exactly aware of how to book these holiday homes, how to stay with the shared accommodations, etc. So they revolutionized these concepts, and they founded Airbnb, and it has been a success. Yeah. So moving ahead, now we'll be slowly getting into the technical details of what each and every step would look like when you're conducting a market research, and after that we'll also go through a case study. So what are the different kinds of market analysis steps? So first, as I was talking about, this is why I was focusing on the why of things, is that first define your objectives. Your objective needs to be absolutely clear in your head, because the more clear you are with your objective, and the more clarity of thought you have of why you are building the product, so will the customer. The customer will know exactly why this product was built and exactly why the product can help him in his day-to-day needs. Next, once you've identified your object, identify your target market. Like for example, if I'm building an electric vehicle, or let's not talk about automotive, we'll get to that in the case study. For example, if you're designing, let's say, a t-shirt, or let's say a polo t-shirt, so polo t-shirts would be something that the new generation might not agree with. However, like, I don't see many young people coming out and wearing tight polo t-shirts, which was fashion, let's say, 15 to 20 years ago. But yet there is a whole section of people, which includes our elder brothers, our father's generations, uncles, people in the 35 to 60 range, who still require polo t-shirts and all. So you should always understand your target market, what sort of a customer you're going to cater to, and you need to design your product based on that. For example, if you are designing a polo t-shirt and you are coming out with very tacky designs, very, how do I say, very fluorescent and bright strips and etc. So that is something, I'm not generalizing. Yeah, but what I'm trying to explain is, if you're trying to serve a market that is aged between 35 to, for people between 35 to 60, and you don't cater to their taste, just designing a polo t-shirt won't do. You don't cater to your taste, their taste, your product is going to be a failure. So second step, identifying your target market, is very important. Please allow me to drink some water. Give me 1 minute. Yeah. Next would be gathering secondary data. So anybody knows the term secondary data or has any idea about what exactly is secondary data?
The data that is already present there, and we are just filtering it out for our own benefit.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you properly. Can you repeat that? Apologies.
Secondary data is data that is already present, for example, in
Mhm.
form of surveys or news articles, and we are
Yeah.
trying to filter it out to for our own purpose, for our own research. So
Yeah,
that's secondary data.
yeah, exactly. So secondary data is basically These will consist of, market survey reports from independent agencies, consulting firms, media reports. So they will be consolidated. So the media will have, wing to analyze particular sections of the business sector continuously, and they'll be handing out reports, testimonies, etc. So you need to thirdly study these reports, study the market trends, what is the trend of the market, what are the products that are appealing to the customer, what are the different features that the customers are demanding. So that is the secondary data. Once you have collected secondary data, what you need to understand is you have to conduct a competitor analysis. So for example, today if I am entering the shoe segment, so I need to understand who exactly my customers are, who exactly my competitors are, sorry. So whether I'll be now here, two things. So first, if your objectives and your target market is clear, so suppose if you want to introduce a shoe segment that sells in the lower categories, that is cheap and easily accessible, so at that time you won't need to think about competing with Nike, Adidas, etc. Instead, what you will be competing with local brands like Pata, Khadims, HRX might sort of a mid segment, but yeah, campus shoes, etc. So you need to first identify your competitor and then conduct a competitor analysis. Why exactly Bata has the major market share? Why exactly Khadims has the major market share? Next, what you need to do is you have to collect primary data. So primary data would be something that that would be the data that you will be collecting on your own. So you can send out online surveys, you can conduct in-person interviews, you can so basically in-person interview is something that I would like to stress upon. So let's say if you are, like I was talking about the shoe segment, so if you're bringing out a shoe that is cheap, that is used for daily daily how do I say, daily chores or daily errands, etc. So if you're coming out with that sort of a shoe, it doesn't make any sense for to go and talk with someone like Virat Kohli or Lewis Hamilton or Cristiano Ronaldo, because their shoe preferences will be completely different compared to the common man. So you need to collect correct data from the target market, and then you have to proceed towards designing your product. So in-person interviews would be something that would be really helpful when you're trying to uh, identify your market, identify your product. Next, assess market trends. So market trends are basically the way the industry is going for. For example, in today's environment, if you start coming out with a diesel vehicle, so the market trend is not going towards diesel vehicles. It is going away from diesel vehicles. It is going towards electricity, EV vehicles, hydrogen-based vehicles, etc. Next, estimating market size and growth. Now that is one concept that is very important to understand what is the exact size of the market that you're trying to capture. For example, the shoe market will be some X billions of dollars. The vehicle market will be some Y billions of dollars, and it might be projected to grow at a certain pace in a certain number of years. For example, the current market size for electric vehicles is rapidly different as compared to what it was, let's say 10 years back. And that is where you have to hire analysts, work with analysts, or become an analyst yourself, analyze these trends, where the market is going, what are the future updates, what are the future features that might come in. Next, analyze SWOT. SWOT is basically nothing, your strengths, weaknesses, etc. So you need to understand where you are good at. You might be good at designing complex vehicles, which are state of the art, very luxury, very premium, or you might have finesse for developing high performance vehicles, for example, like Koenigsegg or Rimac. Like basically, you need to identify your strengths, you need to identify your weakness. For example, if Tata Motors tomorrow decides that I'm going to come out with a supercar that's going to do 100 to 16 1.5 or 2 seconds, so that is more likely to fail, because that is not the strength of Tata Motors. Tata Motors strength is building reliable vehicles, building durable vehicles that are efficient, that you can use for daily use purposes. So you need to analyze your strengths and weaknesses. Next, once you've done that, once you have a brief product idea, once you know what your strengths are, you need to define a USP. So each and every product will they'll try to define their USPs. So can anyone tell me what is the USP for Apple? Anyone? You can just take guesses. Any wild guesses? What is the, oh fine, let's just change the question. Uh, how do I frame this question? Yeah, fine. Let's just say that you can. Oh, security. Someone said security. Fine. Yeah, security can be considered as a USP. But
Sir,
security.
accessibility.
Yeah.
Uh,
Hello.
Sir, accessibility and the reliability that it offers.
Okay. So accessibility, reliability, and security are the answers that I got. So I wouldn't say you are wrong. These are absolute features of an iPhone, but I wouldn't define it as USP. USP is not any feature that goes into your product. USP is that one particular feature that is going to define your product. Quality, reliability, these are all features of Apple. It's not the USP. Security was a USP for something like BlackBerry. BlackBerry, the USP was security. Reliability, durability, these were USPs for Nokia phones. For Apple, the USP would be innovation. Apple always comes out with innovative products, be it the iPod, even the iPhone, the touchscreen phones that they came out with. So the USP for Apple has always been innovation. So you need to identify your USP. So differentiating between your USP and your product features is very essential, because you are going to market, you are going to generate hype amongst the general public based on your USP alone. For example, 5 years back, uh, does everyone have a car at home? Or people about people who have cars at homes, right? Or you might have seen car advertisements and all. So tell me, unmute and tell me, 15 to not even 15, let's say 10 years back, how many of you all would have heard the term NCAP, star ratings? When it came to vehicles, we had star ratings for electronic products, but did we have star ratings for vehicles? What did you see any advertisements that came out showcasing or flaunting that our vehicle has 10-star rating, our vehicle has 2 stars rating, etc.? Anyone?
No, sir.
Yeah, so that is what Tata identified, that its vehicles might not be the best looking, its vehicles might not have the best features, but the USP for a Tata Motors vehicle is that it is reliable, it is durable, and it is safe. It has the highest build quality. And once they identified that, yes, this is our USP, they started marketing their product based on their USP. They started advertising that the Nexon EV has 5-star ratings, that is safe for your family. So anybody who's willing to, buy a family car, take their kids out, his first and foremost priority would be the safety of his family. So then he'll move towards a Tata product as compared to a Maruti, who is not. Maruti's USP is that it is cheap, it is affordable, and the aftermarket service is good. So yeah, so you have to identify your USP, differentiate it from your features, and then start your product development or product marketing, etc. Next, one of the most important aspects, especially with respect to the Indian consumers, is pricing strategy. So pricing strategy is one of the key elements which defines how your product is going to turn out, because pricing strategy, you cannot just keep a aggressive pricing strategy to get the market. That is something that I've seen a lot of startups here in India doing, that they offer huge discounts, uh, very high features, and they keep a very, very low pricing. They take money from the investors, and eventually that startup or that product, even though it is excellent, it is not able to generate profits. It is not able to, um how do I say, return investments to the shareholders. So it's a mess. So pricing strategy is also very important. You have to design your pricing strategy considering the market size. For example, if I'm coming out with an iPhone, let's not consider iPhone would be a bad example here because I don't think they're much worried about pricing strategy. Let's say if you're coming out with a Xiaomi phone and you're competing with Realme, you're competing with Motorola, etc. So it's all, let's say, the sub 20,000 bracket. Now it says, suppose you're coming out with a phone that has the same features as a Xiaomi and you're pricing it at 25,000 or 28,000, which is higher than the market trend. So that time you're going to lose out on money. So then either you have to drop some features if you want to compete in that segment, or you have to drop your price, or you have to adjust your price. Same thing applies to most products. Shoes, I can talk about shoes, automobiles, etc. So pricing strategy is very important. One of the how would I say it, a spectacular failure of pricing strategy would be the Tata Nano. So does anybody have any particular idea why the Tata Nano failed? Anyone?
So, like, I don't know, like, if their pricing strategy failed or their marketing strategy, but I heard
Yeah.
in one of the Mr. Tata's interview that he mentioned that when they were launching Nano, during
Okay.
the marketing phase, they said that Nano will be one of the cheapest cars
Yeah.
of India. So that was a thing that backfired for them, and instead they could have used that Nano
Yeah.
would be one of the most economical cars of India. So
Yeah.
I think that was the thing that backfired for them.
Yeah. So what I believe is that the Tata Nano's failure can be attributed to a number of failures on multiple steps, be it market research, understanding the customer, the pricing strategy, etc. Now, Tata Nano came out with the pricing strategy. If you would have gone through the early, uh, what do I say, early advertisements, that is, it is going to be a car that is going to that is going to be priced at just 1 lakh rupees. So that is what created the hype. However, that was a very aggressive pricing strategy. Even though they had completely sent out flyers, advertisements about the 1 lakh car, after production, now yes, production will have a number of failures. Production needs to have a number of scenarios where things could go wrong, and things actually went wrong for Nano. They had to move their production plant from West Bengal to Gujarat. That increased the production prices. Then the minimal features that are required in the car, that was not there, that they were not able to incorporate basically in that pricing strategy. So it was a failure on the pricing strategy terms itself. Then they misread the Indian customer base. So basically what they thought is that everybody is looking to buy a car, everybody wants to have the cheapest car possible. Like Indians, and it's not to be racist or offensive, but yes, Indians do prefer value for money products, or a bit harshly, I would say, cheap products. If something that costs 10 rupees can get the thing done for me, then why would I buy something for 100 bucks? However, what they fail to understand from the customer's perspective was that buying a car in India was a status symbol. If you are having a car, you're supposed to be a rich family, you're supposed to be doing well in your life. Buying a car in India is not considered something as of a utility. Car is not considered, even today, cars are not considered as only a tool in Indian households. It is a status symbol. So when they came out with the pricing strategy, although I would say still it was brilliant, if they were able to conceptualize of manufacturing and selling a vehicle in 1 lakh rupees, people started assuming the image that it is a very cheap car, doesn't have the features. It is, in Hindi, that as we say, it is a dabba. So is everyone comfortable with Hindi here? Anybody who doesn't understand Hindi? It's completely okay. I'm just getting an idea of you guys. Basically, it's like a box car. Dabba means box. So yeah, so it was failure on multiple fronts. But one more failure that I was highlighting here was the pricing strategy. So instead of advertising it and keeping the price as 1 lakh rupees, if they had advertised it as of efficient car that is not that gets you from point A to B, can accommodate your family members, can accommodate your luggage, your storage, and can also cost you less on your pocket. So that would have been something that would have appealed to the customers more. It would have provided flexibility in terms of pricing strategy also. Like the customers wouldn't be like laser focused on that 1 lakh pricing thing. They would be comfortable with paying 1,30,000. They would be comfortable paying 1,80,000 also. Next, we'll come to marketing and distribution channels. So I guess this point doesn't require that much focus. We've already talked a lot about how do brands communicate, how the marketing is done for most valuable brands, etc. One more thing that I would like to highlight when it comes to, the new age marketing, that is marketing with influencers and marketing with celebrities, etc. So when you're selecting these influencers, when you're selecting these, like I guess many of you, if you would, become an entrepreneur for any product, could be fashion, makeup, uh, shoes, clothing, tools, etc. So when you're selecting these influencers, selecting these celebrities for advertising campaigns or to run your social media, uh, you know, your reels, TikToks, etc. So you need to be understanding of that very fact that the influencer here represents the customer. So what I'm trying to say, you cannot hire a footballer to market a cricket bat. So you need to be that laser focused with your marketing channels, marketing strategies, e-influencer marketing, etc. too. And coming to distribution channels, so again, I'll take the example of the iPhone store. So the iPhone store, what also did it, as I was talking about, it helped manage the inventory control. The entire distribution of the iPhone was completely managed by the company. It was completely under their control. There was no third party in between. There were no middlemen. It was simple in, simple out. You had all the data, and also it increased the profits for the company because there wasn't a middleman who was taking out commissions in between. So yeah, your distribution channels will also matter. And next, market entry strategy. So how do you plan to enter the market? Whether it will be through a huge, disruptive product launch, like something. I forget that app where we had a lot of celebrities doing, you know, ad campaigns, which completely disrupted the advertising space. I think it was Cred. Am I wrong? Where you had Rahul Dravid and you know
Yes, sir, correct.
everyone. Yeah. So you need to understand your market entry strategy also. How you're going to introduce your products to the customer. Which markets you're willing to enter. By this I mean whether you are targeting the regional markets, tier 1 cities, tier 2 cities, tier 3 cities. Where will your product penetration be? Where will your product look to enter people's homes, whether it will be the uber rich or the uber poor or the middle class men? So that is market entry strategy basically. And the last step would be continuous monitoring and adjusting your entire market research analysis wing, all the steps. You need to continuously monitor and adjust, because even in the current age, times are changing rapidly, customer behavior is changing rapidly. Even this COVID, we have completely different consumer behavior with respect to a lot of products, be it pre-COVID or after COVID. So you need to continuously monitor trends, monitor situations, political developments, even what kind of content people are liking, what kind of products people are liking. You have to keep adjusting your product. So till now, I hope everything is clear. Any doubts?
So I had a doubt.
Yeah.
So when you were talking about estimate market size and growth, so
Yes.
can you tell us some techniques? How can we estimate our market size, and how can we, we can't exactly know what how the growth is going to be, right? So there's always going to be some predictions related to it.
Yeah.
So
So
how do we?
like I was suggesting, you need to be continuously monitoring the like for example, you're in the, let's say you're in the automotive space. Let's for example. Now, one question I had before it's off topic. How many of you are engineers here? Is everyone an engineer, or you guys are coming from different fields and different streams also?
Engineers.
Everyone is an engineering student. So like, is everyone from like one particular stream, or are you guys are distributed across different streams? By streams, I mean mechanical, software, computer science, etc. So are you guys distributed amongst different streams, or are you guys all so distributed? Okay. So I'll take a similar example. Yeah. So estimating market size and growth. So let's take the example of electric vehicles. So when you estimate the market size, so there will be three terms that you're going to come across with. So that is TM, total addressable market, SAM, sizable addressable market, and SOM. So basically the TM or TAM as we say, TAM is basically the entire size of the market. For example, let's consider for something as trivial as let's say chocolate. So let's consider the total addressable market for chocolates is $1 billion. And let's say you are going to compete in the chocolate space in the premium category. So out of this $1 billion, the premium category is only comprising of $20 million. And third, the SOM, out of this $20 market premium chocolate industry, you think your product can uh, achieve a certain market share. So this you can monitor by checking sales reports of industries, as I was talking about in gathering secondary data, right? So that is where you'll get to know where the market is headed, what the sales figures are for various companies, and what the sales figures are for the entire industry. So most of these companies, like consulting companies, let's say McKinsey, Bain. So if you go to a McKinsey website, they'll have regular posts, regular reports they'll send out about the market size, the market penetration, the market growth numbers for various industries, be it the power industry, the electrification, power grid demand, etc. So these are the reports, individual reports you'll have to study. You'll have to do a lot of research. Now, in the olden days, we had to research using newspapers. We had to meet industry people, heads of boards. Like let's say for the automotive industry, we have the ARAI. So you have to go to them, get the sales figures, get the industry figures. But now you have everything at the tip of your fingertip. You need to go out, read these reports from obviously from verified resources. That is something I would suggest. So try looking out for these industry reports from big the big four firms, Deloitte and all, the boutique consulting firms, media outlets. For example, let's say if you have a TV at home, you can refer Z Business. So Z Business, you'll have frequent discussions about what the industry size is there. Then you can go out and listen to specialists in the industry. For example, you'll have a lot of if you go to YouTube, you'll find a lot of debate about electric vehicles, hydrogen vehicles, combustion vehicles, etc. So that is how you do your study. So I can't tell you the exact one forum that is going to answer everything. Maybe ChatGPT will do it in the future, but even ChatGPT takes its data from the World Wide Web, where you have conflicting reports, conflicting, etc. So that is what you have to understand and study a lot when you're estimating market size. And growth is something that uh, the it's like each company will have their own assessment of what the market is going to grow like. For example, how do I say this? When initially electric vehicles came out, even today, even today, Maruti Suzuki is very skeptical of the fact that EVs will grow. They are not having the same perspective that EVs will grow. So understanding or estimating growth is something that you do on a individual basis also. It's not like you'll get your definite spoon-fed answers from any particular source. So it's like you have to do your own research, read your own reports, consult with people, hire consultants to tell you and advise you about market size and growth. That is why we have a lot of in India especially, it's now picking up. A lot of management consultant people are joining, becoming management consultants. Management consultant jobs are growing at a rapid pace. So yeah, that would be an answer. That would be my answer actually. So I cannot provide you with exactly one source and spoon feed you. Yeah, refer to this website, refer to this report. You have to do your research on your own when it comes to estimating market size and growth. And this is the answer to this will be varying from company to company and people to people.
Okay, so thank you.
So were you able to get a understanding of what I tried to say, or are you having any other doubts related to this topic?
No, sir, I will like I got the gist of how to do the research and how to approach this.
Yeah. Basically, it involves a lot of studying. That would be a very short answer. It will involve a lot of studying, different reports, different people, interviews, debates, etc.
All right, thank you, sir.
Yeah. So here we'll just quickly go over. We are running a little short on time. We'll quickly go over a brief example of a market analysis for a new electric car. So the scenario that has been given is we have to conduct a market research to analyze the market for a new electric vehicle, EcoVolt. So let's say you are a hypothetical company called Green Tech Motors, and you are going to come out with a new electric vehicle, and you're trying to understand what sort of a product you should build or what sort of a market there is for the product, etc. So first would be define your objective. So the objective of this market analysis is to assess the feasibility and potential of a new electric car model determined as EcoVolt. Next, identify your target market. So your target market includes like you did your research and you come to the conclusion that it will cater to people who are conscious about the environment, who are very tech savvy, who like enjoy very tech features. Like people are coming out with features in the Tesla such as customizable horns and lot of voice assistants, etc. And mostly it will be electric vehicles will be something that will be easily be adopted by city going people and not the village market. So your target market is going to be, you know, tech savvy individuals between, let's say, 25 to 35 years of age, who are willing to buy their first vehicle and are looking for a cost effective transportation solution. Next, you will be gathering secondary data. You will be studying industry reports, government statistics, market research publications. So that will give you an understanding of what exactly is the demand for electric vehicles in the market, what is the market share of electric vehicles amongst combustion, diesel, hydrogen, hybrid, etc. Next, you have to conduct a competitor analysis. So what sort of a product you are going to be building, who are going to be your competitors, we are going to compete with the absolute best, like say Tesla or Mercedes Benz. Are you going to compete in the middle segment with Chevrolet, Tata Motors, etc. Next, you have to collect primary data. Like I said, this will be your own personal research. Personal by I don't mean your own individual research, or personal research of the company. What research they conduct, how they conduct it, and come to a particular conclusion. Next, assessing market trends. So the Green Tech Motors, like the hypothetical company here, they assess the market trends and they reveal trends favoring EVs. For example, these trends may include, you know, governments are coming out with subsidies, then government initiatives that in India, 50% of the vehicles, 75% of the vehicles need to be electrified before 2030. So these are, you know, government initiatives that promote your product that you're trying to build. So it gives you a positive outlook of the market and how the market is going to proceed in the future. Next, estimating market size and growth. Like I said, the TAM for electric cars in our target region is like 5 lakh units. So the total addressable market is 5 lakh units are being sold in, let's say, India, out of which the growth rate of the industry is 15%. So every year the industry is growing by 15%. So if this year you're selling 5 lakh units, next year is going to be 15 percentage more. So a sizable the SAM consists of 1 lakh units. So since you are competing in the middle segment, so the middle segment's market rate is the market size is 1 lakh units, and there are, let's say, 10 players in the market, so you are aiming for 10% penetration in the market. So this is how you estimate market size and growth. Next, the SWOT analysis. So whether your strengths will lie on performance. For example, in EVs also, like I would say in the bike segment, you might have heard about this company called Ultraviolet Automotive. So they are coming out with performance electric bikes as compared to, Ola and Ather Energy, who are coming out with more efficient electric vehicles, because their strength lies on efficiency. Ultraviolet's strength lies on performance. Next, define your USP. So EcoVolt's USP is going to be affordability with a competitive price point compared to premium electric brands, combined with robust range and cutting edge battery technology. So basically, the USP is going to be that the car is going to be very, very affordable, like such as a Tata Nano. Next, pricing strategy. Now, we decided to adopt a competitive pricing strategy, offering the EcoVolt at a price point of 15% lower than our closest competitor. So let's say if the closest competitor is selling at price X, you're going to be selling at 15% lower than X. So then you need to go through the product development stages in a particular manner that you don't lose out on money, even though you are, pricing your product comparatively lesser. So then you have to do innovations with respects to materials, innovations with respect to supply chain, innovations by cutting down of retail marketing, or what you're going to pay, the percentage you're going to pay to dealerships, or whether you're going to sell the vehicles with through your own outlets, as a lot of companies have now started to do. So yeah. And last, marketing and distribution channels. So our marketing plan includes leveraging social media. So since our target audience is comparatively of the younger generation, so they are going to be the green tech motors. They expect the target customers to always be on Instagram. So they are going to interact with a lot of social media personalities, car review shows, car review people who review cars on Instagram and Facebook, and create a lot of awareness about the product. And then we'll distribute EcoVolt both through traditional dealerships and online sales channels. So like they are coming up with online sales channels also. So because online sales will reduce a lot of your infrastructure costs, dealership commissions, etc. And that will allow you to price your product the 15% lower. Next, market entry strategy. So we plan to launch EcoVolt with a soft launch in major metropolitan areas. Like I said, the target area for the product are going to be tier 1 cities. So these cities will have, electric vehicle friendly policies, charging stations, etc. And last, again, monitor and adjust. So we'll have a continuous development process, or what we can also say as project lifecycle management, etc. So conclusion, the market analysis for EcoVolt, our new electric car, indicates a promising market opportunity given the increasing demand for EVs, a competitive pricing strategy, and commitment to sustainability. By following the outlined steps and continuously evaluating market conditions, we aim to position EcoVolt as a strong contender in the electric car market. So any doubts till now? Anyone? Okay, so we may move forward. Next, competitive research strategies. Now, the interesting thing about competitive research strategies is there are two types of companies that we normally see in the market. One that believe that they are the best, they only compete with themselves, they do not induct in something called competitive research strategies. Instead, they focus on self development, and these will be your market leaders, such as Apple and all. And then we'll have another set of companies. I'm not demeaning those companies, but what I'm trying to say, it is good to be a competitor also. And these companies will be always analyzing the leaders, trying to compete with them, trying to offer a better product. So it totally depends on what sort of a company you are striving to be, where your specialty lies in. So competitive research strategy is basically a tool wherein you compare your product with someone else's product to understand what good your product is doing, what are the shortcomings of your product, how better you can develop your product, and how better you can reach out to the customers with your product. So here also we are having some steps. So most of these steps are similar to market analysis also, because competitive research in the broader sense is actually a part of market analysis. So here also we'll have to identify your competitors, select key products for analysis. For example, like I was talking about the phone segment. So if you are building a phone that is 20,000 rupees, you're going to analyze products of your competitor that are in the similar price and feature range. So define your research goals. This is very important. So what exactly are you looking to find out from your competitor's product? Whether it is how is he reducing his manufacturing costs and gaining so much profit, or whether how is his product, even though it is like I'd say poorly designed, it has less features, but still he's selling more units than you. So you need to define your research goals. Why exactly are you conducting the comparative research? Then collect data, obviously. So this collection of data you can do through online surveys, reading testimonials, going to even people. I've seen research analysts go to Quora and go through YouTube product review shows, and collect basically what are the criticisms that are there for the product, competitor's product. What are the good things that the reviewers are saying about their products, etc. Then analyze product features, the pricing analysis, customer feedback and reviews. How are they positioning themselves in the market? So for example, if I'm a new smartphone company that is looking to enter the market and I want to compete with Xiaomi, so I need to understand where exactly Xiaomi is placing their products, exactly what their market positioning is, whether it is in the premium segment, it is the middle segment, or the cost effective segment. Then you have to do a SWOT analysis for your competitor also. What are the strengths of the competitor's product? What are the weaknesses? And how can you build your product based on their weaknesses and outsell them? Then product benchmarking also is a very important part, because each sector, no matter which product you are going to come up with, there will always be an industry standard benchmark if you're a new company. For example, for Netflix, it was Blockbuster. They were the benchmark. For for vehicles, it would be something like a Mercedes Benz or a Porsche, or for the economy segment, it would be something like a Toyota or a Ford. Then competitive advantage, where your advantage lies at compared to your competitor, what good or how good of a product you are making, and how you can utilize or play on the competitor's weakness and create a competitive advantage. For example, if I see that uh, let me think of an example. For example, let's say fruit vendors. Let's take a simple example. Let's say I conduct a market analysis and I see that there is a huge health benefit for dragon fruit. And the fruit vendor who is sitting next to me, he is not selling dragon fruit. So that is a shortcoming of his particular shop or his particular stall, and I can play on that. I can start selling dragon fruits, and I can attract his customer base who is looking out for dragon fruits, is not getting it at his shops, and I can call him up to my shop, etc. Then iteration and implementation. So based on the competitors products analysis or the competitor analysis, you start building iterations or incorporating the features in your product, whether it be an app, be a phone, be a vehicle. You start adopting the competitors good features, whatever you liked about his product, and start implementing and creating iterations of your own product, and then again monitor them continuously, your competitor as well as the market trend, because when you're, let's say, inventing a product, you'll have a first mover's advantage, but that first mover's advantage won't last long. We have seen many companies, many products where it was something absolutely out of the box, absolutely a new product in the market. However, the competition soon completely destroyed it, completely took over it. And even though they were inventors of the product, they couldn't capitalize on it, they couldn't take over the market. And last 2 points, these are points that are actually very important, but people, especially young entrepreneurs, do not have much knowledge about it, and they do not even care to gather more knowledge about it. That is protection of your IP, staying ethical, using ethical means to product research for product research. You cannot just like, I want technical details of the Tata Nexon, I'm working for Mahindra, so I just go to a Tata Nexon employee and get all the details from him. That is an unethical practice. But yes, there have been instances where, yes, the market is sometimes and very, very ugly also. But yeah, it is not advised. It is best that you maintain your and protect your IPs. How you're doing the market analysis, product competitor analysis, you be transparent with it, and you're ethical, and you create a good environment around your company, and stay away from all these misdoings, because there have been a lot of ugly instances where there have been fights and legal cases that go on for a long period of time, that eventually hamper not only the product but end up hampering the entire industry. So any doubts till now on competitive analysis or competitor analysis, whatever you want to call it? Yeah, so no doubts till now, anyone?
Yeah, I have one. I want to
Yeah,
know,
sure.
uh, can you distribute this analysis into two part, quantitative and qualitative, and how it can be done from qualitative point of view and quantitative point of view? What should be the approach as a start? You can say whether we should go for an existing marketing company, or we should rely on direct on influencers, or we should do it by ourselves. What should be the approach for quantitative and
Yes.
qualitative?
Yeah, so with respect to your question, see, your name is Anil, right? Anil, there is no, I cannot tell you for definite that I'll suggest you one of the two and it is going to work for you. There is no such scenario as such. You need to build, when you're building your own product, the entire research thing is going to be your own thing. It is not that if I do a qualitative research, it is going to be better than a quantitative one. If I do a quantitative one, it is going to be better than a qualitative one. Quantitative research is nothing but research based on like sales reports, numbers, etc. And whereas qualitative research is nothing but you rely on customer feedback, customer interviews, etc. So if I say today that, yeah, you should do a qualitative research, Anil, for your product, and you should only rely on customer feedback, so that won't help you build your product, because if you only rely on customer feedback, what the customer wants, etc., what you will be left behind on is the industry trends, the market share that you're trying to capture. So both are, I would say, interlinked. You need to go ahead with both qualitative research as well as quantitative research. And then it should be a decision of one individual or the entity, the organization, of which direction they are willing to go for. Whether they want to rely on the numbers and statistics and then cater their product, cater to their audience in a similar manner, or they want to go towards the qualitative part where they completely rely on the customer feedback. So it is a personal choice, I would say. When you're going through the product development journey, there is no fixed approach. There is no fixed, I would say, instruction that anybody can give you. Any coach in the world can give you that. If that was the case, people would have built each and every product successfully by conducting successful market research and analysis. Tata Motors wouldn't have, screwed up the Tata Nano marketing campaign because, okay, they know that qualitative is correct and quantitative is wrong. So yeah, the approach should be based on three things: having an open mind, you are accepting towards each and every view, be it of the customer, be it of the industry experts, be it of the industry reports that these consulting firms or marketing agencies are generating. Second, you need to be adaptable. So let's say if you are building a product on pathway A, however, the market research that you have done tells you that no, this won't work, you need to go towards another path, you should be able to adapt to that. And third would be sticking to what you are good at and what feels right for you. So for example, I would say when you're going to the gym, so you are working on your body, etc. So there will be someone who will be doing dumbbell curls for with 50 kgs, with 60 kgs. And if you see that, okay, doing 60 kg dumbbell curls, it is working out for him. So I must also do the same. And I also become like him, all bulked up and everything. That won't work for you. You might fracture your hand. You may injure yourself critically. So you need to take your own decisions based on what you are good at. So both of these might work for you, both of these might not work for you. It depends on your decision taking capability.
Okay, I got your point. One more a small question. Collect the data. Point number 4, collect data. So at the initial stage, how we can collect the data of our product or feedbacks? It should be social marketing. First, we should go for it, or what is your experience
Like
from
if you
your
want to,
example?
yeah, if you want to collect quick data, you have to rely on industry reports. So I'm not sure whether you have gone through them or not, but if you go to Google and you seek out these industry reports, like suppose if you start going and you are looking out for a report on the market size for shoes, then I'm 200% you'll get verified market reports, market data from leading consulting firms, leading marketing agencies, industry experts, etc., that have put out these reports. So collecting data in today's modern age is not a difficulty and not a challenge at all. The only thing is people don't go and look for it. People don't bother to collect data about the market, about products, about future trends. Yeah.
Would you recommend some websites or some sources so that
Like I
we
said,
can
the best data that you would get would be from these boutique consulting firms. So these consulting firms will include something like McKinsey, Bain and Company, BCG, and then you'll have the big four consulting firms also that will regularly put out reports on various industries, from power generation to environmental impact, the products that are revolutionizing climate change, etc., like Deloitte, KPMG. So these are all consulting firms and they have their research and analysis wings based only on this two particular topics, that is market analysis and comparative research. And along with that, you will even find government reports. So like MSME, the government of India will put out a lot of reports. Banking, RBI will put out reports for the banking sectors. The transport department will put out reports with respect to road infrastructure policies that the government is intending to implement, etc. So it's a lot of studying, and I would say always rely on official company reports and not some you know influencers and all. Is something, when you're collecting data, influencers and all, yes, they might be industry experts, etc. But if I were you, I would rely on verified organizations instead.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So yeah, we are running a little short on time. We still have a lot of topics to do, and so we just quickly go over this just a case study of how to conduct a comparative research. So here again, we are continuing the same example so that it is easier for you to understand. So again, here you are entity called Green Tech Motors, which is a leading manufacturer of electric vehicles. And the primary competitor in this market is a company called EcoMotion Electric that has a car which is doing very good in the market, and this car is called as Drive. So here your product EcoVolt, as we had established in the previous case study. So EcoVolt, you are looking to have a competition with Drive. So you have identified your competitor, you have selected their product which matches your product segment, your pricing strategy, your, like, basically it matches A to A with your product. So you've identified the key product for them. Then you need to define your research goal. The research aims to assess the competitive landscape, identify opportunities for product improvement, and enhance Green Tech Motors' market position in the electric car industry. So you are conducting this research in order to improve your product on a technical level. So next, you'll gather data on both Drive and EcoVolt, including specifications, pricing, customer reviews, market positioning, and sales data. Now, as you were asking how you are going to collect this data, so I'm pretty sure when it comes to specifications and pricings, you will get it on the company website itself. Reviews, you can go to customer review forums, you can search on Google, you can go to auto review shows, what the industry experts are telling about the products. And these industry experts also, they will conduct customer reviews where they go out in the market and ask normal customers about, or normal people about a particular product. Then the company itself, like in question here, EcoMotion Electric. So each company will always be giving out their sales data on a quarter-on-quarter basis or an yearly basis, whichever they prefer. So you can go over the official sales figures from directly from your competitor's company itself. You don't need to rely on anyone else for the particular data. Next, analyze product features, compare the specifications and features of Drive and EcoVolt, whether Drive is offering more range, whether Drive is offering more customization options, etc. And exactly where Drive is excelling and where Drive's shortcomings are that you can incorporate into your product and improve it. Next, pricing analysis, examine the pricing strategies of both models, considering factors like base price. So each vehicle will have a number of options. Even your phones have a number of options. Like, for example, if you consider Tata Motors, there will be a Tata Nexon X Plus, XTM, based on different variants, different pricing, etc. So you have to study what variant is having what price, what are the optimization available, how are they offering financial discounts, or loan options, EMI options, what sort of a financial backing they are giving to their customers, because that also plays a crucial part. Customer feedback and reviews we've already established. Market positioning, determine how EcoVolt and Drive are positioned in the electric car market. Are they targeting the same demographics with respect to the technicalities, with respect to the features? So example, Drive might be targeting the age group of 35 to 40 or 35 to 45, and they are catering their product features based on that particular demographic. Next, strength and SWOT analysis. And last would be benchmarking. So both models against industry leaders. So EcoVolt might not be the industry leader. So there might be an industry leader, and you have to also benchmark both EcoVolt and your vehicle, that is EcoVolt, and the competitor's vehicle, that is Drive. And let's say if the benchmark vehicle scores of 4.5 out of 5, then how much will Drive score? Let's say it scores 3.8. And how much does your own product, that is the EcoVolt, will score? Next, so these are the points we have already discussed previously. So just we have to again identify opportunities, maintain a competitive advantage, whether you can offer more range and be competitive in that particular feature, iteration and implementation. Again, you have studied the entire product of your competitor. Then again, you have to redevelop your product, incorporate modifications in your product and implement them. Continuously monitor your competitor, because your competitor is going to keep innovating. He's not going to stop at one particular stage. So it is not that once you have analyzed drive as a car and you can just stop at it, build your own product and be done with it. No, drive is going to keep innovating itself and you need to innovate it yourself in comparison to drive. And then protect your IPs and stay ethical with your research. Sorry for that. So with this, you gain valuable insights into how to improve your electric car offering EcoVolt, enhance their position in the electric vehicle market, and you should do this while maintaining ethical and legal standards. So till now, everything is clear to you guys? Any doubts? Any gaps you're having in the concepts that have been explained till now? Any further doubts? Because now we'll be moving to a completely different different topic. So this was all about market research and analysis in a very brief manner. We only had 1 hour. Yeah. So yes, there are other aspects to look forward towards this topic. It is a very broad topic. In fact, it can be an entire semester in an MBA course on itself. But yeah, so for this time being, this would be a brief overview. So any other further doubts before moving on to the next topic? Just quickly go over the
No,
chat
sir.
box once. Okay. Yeah, so project management. So project management is also a very, very essential part of the entire product development process. Project management, what exactly it is? Project management is a systematic approach to planning, executing, and monitoring and closing a project to achieve specific goals and objectives within defined constraints. It's a critical discipline in various industries and plays a crucial role in ensuring projects are completed successfully. So as I was talking about, so if you do a competitor analysis, you have come to the conclusion that Drive is offering more range compared to your EcoVolt. And now you go to your product team, or suppose you are part of the product team, and then you have been tasked to modify EcoVolt in such a manner that it also offers equal or if not more range than drive. So that would be your project, and that project will have various stages. So it will have a development phase where you brainstorm how you're going to achieve this incremental range. Then you'll have an implementation phase where you get down on your drawing books, on your CAD, on your calculations, and try to make concrete documentation, concrete ideas about how you're going to implement everything. Then there will be a phase where you're going to actually implement it, then do a maintenance of it, continuous. Okay. Okay, I don't know what the disruption was, but anyways, let's move ahead. Yeah, my or no, the audio is like you guys are able to hear me, right?
Yes, sir.
And screen is also visible. I think there was some sort of a disruption in between.
Yes, so currently you can see why project management matters.
Yeah, are you guys getting any audio disruption in between, like someone is calling or something?
No, sir.
Okay, fine. Yeah, so as I was talking about, so SpaceX incorporates something called an agile methodology when it comes to building products. We'll be going over agile development in brief. Next, cost efficiency. It has managed to significantly reduce the cost of launching payloads into space compared to traditional aerospace companies. So reusable technology. So the main USP, as I was talking about earlier, the USP of SpaceX is that it has reusable rockets. So reusable rockets was something that was completely considered, impossible to achieve. NASA tried it, they couldn't achieve it. Russia's space organization, they have tried it. It was a concept that was like impossible to do, that we cannot land launch rocket safely back. So that was their USP. And then continuous innovation. So continuous innovation is also a key part of the entire project management methodology. Moving ahead. So what are the different stages of project management? So the project management, again, just like market research, will start by defining the goals and the scope of the project. So we have to start by clearly defining the project's goals and objectives. What exactly are we trying to achieve? What is the desired outcome that we are expecting of the project? For example, let's say if let's say you are working for a let's say it's working for like company called Goldman Sachs or any banking company. So, and you are doing a particular project where you are uh, let's say, trying to get in more customers in, provide better investment advice to your customers, etc. So in that case, the desired outcome would be, customer delight with the investment opportunities that you've suggested, etc. If you are, let's say, something like an HDFC, so how many number of people are taking your credit cards, that would be an outcome of your project. If let's say your project is designed towards catering and selling more credit cards to people, so you have to clearly define your project goals. Next would be scope. So there is a clear differentiation between project goals and scope. So scope is basically the boundaries of the project, what is included and what is not. For example, if I am an mid-segment shoe manufacturer, so my scope will include using materials that are cost effective, and I won't try to initiate a different scope, like as in provide more comfort to the customer, use higher end materials. That would be something called going out of scope. That is not the scope of the project. Scope is of the project is to provide a mid-level segment shoe with average quality materials at average costing. So you need to be completely in tune with the boundaries of your project. And then we'll have the first phase. Once you have identified your project goals and your scope, the first phase would be the planning phase. So the planning phase will include creating a detailed project plan that outlines tasks, various timelines, resource requirements. By resource, it could be human resource, how much amount of labor you require, legal departments you'll require or not, R&D you'll require or not, or it could be a materialistic resource also. For example, what sort of material you'll be required, whether you'll be requiring a complete manufacturing setup, or you'll have software requirements, software resources, whether you'll require project management tools, coding softwares, etc. So I outline the timelines and the resource requirements. So softwares, I'll get into the softwares later on. Next, work breakdown structure. So this is something that is very, very essential, is to break the project down into as small and as manageable tasks as possible. So when I was in my engineering study, so I studied mechanical engineering. So we went for something called Formula Student. Is anyone here from Formula Student who takes part in Formula Student or is aware of the entire landscape of Formula Student? Anyone? Okay, so Formula Student is nothing but it's like, suppose if you're a computer science engineer and you are having these hackathons you have, right, where you take up teams and go and participate in hackathons. Formula Student is also a similar competition wherein you build race cars and take those race cars and compete in competitions outside. So some of these competitions are held in India, some of them are held outside. So there I learned the absolute importance of breaking the task into a number of steps. For example, if you are having a project of building, let's say, a suspension system. Okay, you are building a suspension system for a vehicle. Now, what you will do is, someone who is not familiar with the concept of project management and the different methodologies, it's like, okay, I have to develop a suspension system. I have to design, I'll have to do calculations, and I will have to gather materials, I'll have to do the manufacturing, etc. So this is how he will break down the task on a very macro level. But someone who is well versed with the concept of project management, he knows about the importance of project management. What he will do exactly is, let's consider the manufacturing part of a suspension system. So what he will do, he will exactly outline all the small steps, right from initiating contact with the supplier, acquiring, that will be a task. There will be a timeline for that small task of just sending out the initial requirement mail. Then getting having a meeting with him, that will also be a task. There will be a timeline for negotiating with the supplier. Then there will be a timeline for the logistics, where how much time it will take for the supplier to ship the particular part or ship the particular material to you, or give you the license for a particular software. Let's just talk about, not just talk about a particular product. So yeah, breaking the task down to as small blocks as you can. Next, scheduling. Scheduling is one of the most critical parts of the entire planning phase, because this will completely define on the workload, on the capacity of your resources. For example, if you are having very skilled labor, or labor that is very very dedicated to the company's cause, that is, people who willingly work 15 to 16 hours. I'm not that kind of a person, but yeah, there are certain sets of people, so you need to identify your resource, whether they will be able to put in that amount of work or not. For example, if I'm a project manager and I'm not in tune with my team, and I set up a very very strict and a very stringent deadline for them, so will they be able to produce the same quality of work, same quantity of work? No, right? Quality will be compromised. So you need to schedule the project with respect to, first, your team's capabilities, because people come first, and then you have the different project constraints, whether it be respects to budget, managing logistics and supply chain, sourcing materials, R&D, etc. So you need to schedule that in a particular manner. Next, determine resource allocation. Determine the people, equipment, and materials needed for the project, and allocate resource accordingly. So this is something that is very, very crucial, because you need to understand, let's say if you're having a team of 10 people, if you're a young founder and you're having only a small team of 10 people, so each people, let's say you're giving them 2 3 tasks. Now suppose if one person, let's say Ramesh, he has no knowledge of Microsoft Excel, he doesn't know coding, and is but he is good with interacting with people and all. So if you give him the task of creating Excel reports, sales reports within the project, he is going to fail, your project is going to fail. So understand the qualities that your resources have, and allocate them the tasks accordingly. Next, risk assessment. Identify potential risks and create a plan to mitigate or manage them. So this could be an example for today's scenario as well. So now, initiating these trainings, these projects, so there is a certain timeline that is sent out in prior. So like for this particular session, we had a time from 7 to 9, and I realized that However, there will always be risk, and today the risk was unexpected rain, storm, and traffic. So some of the risks you can prepare yourselves of, and some of them you cannot prepare yourselves for. Like for example, I had already prepared my setup before leaving for office, because I knew in the evening this sort of a problem might occur where I might be late. Now suppose if I hadn't assessed that risk and my entire room would have been a mess, I wouldn't have a proper setup. So it would have taken me another 30 minutes. I would have maybe started off the workshop at 8 o'clock, leading to the customer or your dissatisfaction. So risk assessment needs to be done very cautiously, and you need to always plan or have a plan in place to mitigate this risk. Yes, 100% risk you cannot remove from the project. There will always be some unexpected error. Let's say for example, if you having 10 resources, 6 resources gets stuck with COVID, your project is going to get stuck. So that is something either you either have a plan for or you improvise later on. So risk assessment is also very important. Next, after the planning phase comes the execution phase. So execution phase will consist of team management. So once you have assigned the project team, you have assigned responsibilities to everyone, ensure that everyone understands their roles, is following the timelines, is catering to all the responsibilities that have been assigned to them. Communication is again, I would say, one of the most crucial aspects, because when you're managing a project, it could be any project, be a software related project, be a hardware related project, be a clothing related project, you need to be in constant communication with a number of set of different people. So you need to always be in constant communication with the client, understand how their needs are changing, what exactly their needs are. For example, if they're looking for a website, what exactly features they want, what exactly font colors they want. Clients can be very picky sometimes with respect to various different things. So have constant communication with the client, have constant communication with your team also. For example, if your client proceeds towards giving you an unrealistic expectation, for example, let's say including 3D tours of their shops, and which is not possible with the resource pool you are having or with the budget they are allocating to you or the billing they are providing to you. So have very clear communication with your client as well as your own team with respect to the project goals, the deadlines, how the project is processing, and have regular meetings with both the client side and the your team side. So monitoring and control. So keep a close eye on the project's progress and performance. Use KPIs or key performance indicators to continuously track the how the project is progressing. So you can use interactive dashboards. Nowadays we are having Power BI tools, or Power BI tools. Basically, these interact and produce give you a brief overview of how the project is progressing, how many issues you are facing, what are the quality standards. You get everything on the dashboard itself. Next, issue resolution. So as soon as you'll get any issues, any roadblocks, have a plan or a timeline in place. Like, okay, let's say if I'm getting a quality issue from the customer side, so there should be a timeline in place. Like, for example, if you are receiving a quality issue X, so to resolve that quality issue X, you need to have a plan in place so that you can cover it in, let's say, 3 minutes or 5 minutes, whatever is defined and agreed between your team and the customer. So issue resolution and proactive issue resolution is a crucial element of the execution phase. And then we'll have closing phase. Now closing phase, people are very lethargic about. People will be very active during the planning phase and the execution phase. However, once the team realizes that okay, the project is done, we have completed our sales reports, we have created our websites, we have created our vehicle. So after that, what happens? A sense of lethargy starts creeping in. They just finish the project, give it to the customer. They don't review it enough. They don't have proper documentation for it. So closing phase is as important as planning and execution, because it will help you in the next projects that you take up. So here also we're having 4 steps. First is the completion. So when the project is finished, ensure that all the project deliverables are completed to the required standards. It is not like you are having only 90% of project completion or 98% of project completion. If a project is there, 100% needs to be completed at the specified time. Next, client or stakeholder acceptance. So always get formal acceptance in the form of documentation. Do not rely on, let's say if you are interacting with a client who is let's say you are a marketing agency startup and you are working for a bigger MNC, and you interacted with their particular manager and he said, yeah, the project looks okay. And and you're just satisfied. You're like, okay, he said the project is okay, so the project is okay. That it doesn't work that way, because he may later on come and claim that the project is not okay and he didn't give you any verbal confirmation. So always get a formal acceptance from the client or the stakeholders that the project meets their expectations. Get a formal mail or a document or any sort of concrete evidence. Next, documentation. So documentation is again an aspect that almost each and every fresher who enters the industry or each and every entrepreneur who enters the product development landscape is something they consider documentation to be irrelevant, not required, excess work, etc. However, documentation is very essential to understand how you can improve your project, how you can improve your abilities for the next upcoming projects. So document the project, the lessons learned, what are the shortcomings that you faced, how much time it took to resolve each issue, how the customer behaved with you, how you behaved with the customer, whether there were any escalations or not. So each and every minor thing that happened in the project, try to document it and have a complete project document ready once you have finished the project. And next, closure. Closure is very simple. It's close out the project, release the resources, disband the project team, start a new project, or go towards the next version of the current project. So there are some key principles when it comes to project management. First one would be project constraints. So basically these constraints will include time, budget, scope, availability of resources, etc. So basically things that can hamper your project or can, produce obstacles in your project. So those are called project constraints. Next, stakeholder engagement. Keep stakeholders informed and involved throughout the project to ensure alignment with their expectations, because we in the industry see a numerous instances where clients later come on and provide extra work or change their expectations, or sometimes it has happened even that they have completely asked to change the project or complete product within a space of 1 week, etc. Quality management. So always conduct quality checks after each and every step of your project management phase, in that project management activity. I'm not just talking on the macro level, whether do not just conduct quality checks after the entire planning phase is over. Conduct quality checks for each and every stage that we discussed within the planning phase also. Last, adaptability. Be prepared to adapt to the project plan, as unforeseen challenges or changes will always arise. So till now, any doubts with respect to project management?
No, sir.
Okay. So yeah, so project management is a concept that has been growing at a very rapid pace, and there are some excellent tools that are currently available in the market. So there are tools like Asana, Trello, Jira. Jira, I guess everybody would be aware of Jira. There are a lot of memes about Jira, not just memes. There's a lot of industry buzz also. It is an excellent project management tool. However, it can be complicated at times, but yeah, everything has its pros and cons. So then we have Microsoft projects, Slack, etc. So these are just tools that can help you monitor, control, allocate responsibilities, etc. at each stage of your project management phase. Now, there are various methodologies when it comes to under project management. However, we'll be only looking at the two major ones. So one is the waterfall methodology and one is the agile methodology. So choosing the right project management methodology depends on project specifics, team expertise, stakeholder preferences, organization culture, etc. We have to consider factors like adaptability, stakeholders, and alignment with your organization's practices while remaining open to adjustments as the project evolves. So these are the two major ones, waterfall methodology and agile methodology. I'm sure many of you would have already heard of agile. There are a lot of online courses based on agile project management. Even Google has excellent courses on agile project management, etc. So if you want to learn agile project management in a lot of depth, you can refer to those courses, etc. So understanding in brief, the waterfall methodology is a traditional project management approach that follows a linear and sequential process. It's often used in projects where the requirements are well defined and unlikely to change significantly. The waterfall methodology is often seen as rigid because it follows a strict sequence. Changes to requirements or design can be challenging and very costly to implement once the project is in progress. However, it works well for projects with well-defined and stable requirements, such as building a bridge or manufacturing a physical product. So waterfall methodologies are methodologies which we basically see more towards the hardware or the physical product industry as compared to more towards the software or IT side, because in these industries the requirements are more or less pretty well defined. Your client will exactly tell you what he's looking for, whether he's looking for a particular style of design of a mobile phone or shoe or etc. So basically like physical products mostly will follow waterfall methodologies. However, there have been some disruptions and some changes that companies are trying to avoid, uh, not avoid, sorry, adopt more innovative project management methodologies such as agile, etc. So we'll just quickly go over software related uh, methodology for waterfall. So as I was talking about hardware and all, so this would be something new. So how to adopt waterfall methodology for a software development project. So in the waterfall methodology, first you'll be having a requirements phase. In this phase, the project team works with stakeholders, including car manufacturers, safety experts, etc., to gather detailed requirements for the ADAS. ADAS is nothing but automated driver assistance systems, basically your self-driving cars. Software that initiates self-driving cars is basically ADAS. So the requirements could include features like adaptive cruise control, lane assist, collision avoidance, etc. Next, you'll have the design phase. So once you have gotten your requirements from the client for the particular software, you start proceeding towards the design phase. So here you will be allocating various responsibilities to engineers. Like a particular team will be responsible for radar development, a team will be responsible for camera development, etc. So this will be the design phase where you will be designing the software from scratch. Next, the implementation phase. So once you have the design of the software ready, like what will be the features, how the software interface is going to look, then you go towards the coding phase, which is the actual working phase. So in this phase, engineers and software developers begin coding the ADAS system. According to the design specifications, they write the software code that will control the various features of the system. So, for example, engineers would write the software that interprets data from the radar sensor to control adaptive cruise control, control the acceleration pedals, the brake pedals, control the ECU of the vehicle to control combustion in the engine, etc. A lot of different things, ensuring the car maintains a safe following distance from the vehicles on the road. Next, once you have designed and implemented your design, so next will come a very crucial aspect, that is testing phase. So whatever design or product you have built, whether it be software or hardware, you need to put it through a series of uh, tests which sort of closely resemble the real world scenario. For example, if it is a software, you need to put it through software testing with with the help of automation testers, manual testers, etc., whether the software is behaving in the way it is intended to, whether it is identifying the different vehicles using computer vision or not, whether it is able to distinguish between pedestrians and other vehicles. So this will include in the testing phase. So testers will assess whether the lane keeping assist features keep the car in its lane correctly, whether the collision avoidance system reacts appropriately or not. And once the testing phase is over, then comes the deployment phase. So once the software system passes all the tests and is certified as safe and effective, it is integrated into the manufacturing process of the car model. All newly manufactured cars are then equipped with the ADAS system. Now, the reason I was telling that it is difficult to implement waterfall methodology into software based projects is because suppose you are considering for the ADAS system, right? So the client may come up to you and tell you that I don't like the user interface of the ADAS system. It needs to be of a particular color. It needs to have a particular way of transitioning. It needs to have a particular color of box that identifies or distinguishes between pedestrians and vehicles, etc. So there are a lot of variables that come into play with respect to customer requirements, and that is why waterfall is not advised. But yes, you can, if you have the team, if you have a clear uh, requirements providing client, then sure, you can go ahead with waterfall methodology for your project management requirements. And last, we'll have maintenance and support phase. So softwares will obviously, no matter how much testing you do, you cannot ensure that the software is 100% compliant with respect to requirements and performance. Even Facebook, Google, etc., these apps and software still have a lot of bugs, lot of issues with respect to their softwares. So you need to always have a maintenance and support structure in place to continuously monitor the incoming bugs, solve them out, etc. So any doubts sir, with respect to waterfall methodology?
No, sir.
Okay, that's good. So now moving towards a more modern agile, more modern methodology of project management. Sorry, I think we are out of time. I'll just quickly take 10 minutes more and quickly wrap this up by 9:45. We are already 15 minutes beyond our 15 minutes beyond our project, beyond our scheduled time. Yeah. So agile methodology is a modern, flexible approach to project management that focuses on collaboration, adaptability, and customer satisfaction. It is particularly well suited for projects where requirements may change frequently or where the final product is not well defined at the outset. So the key principles of agile is that it is a very customer centric approach. That is, if the customer requirements change tomorrow, you should be having the framework to change your entire product tomorrow itself. Next, it focuses on iterative and incremental development, continuously planning, prioritizing of features, prioritizing of tasks, etc., continuous integration and testing, and adaptability to change. So if I have to summarize agile methodology, I would say it is a methodology in which instead of focusing on delivering the final product at one shot, what you do is you build an initial product, you show it to the customer assesses your product in the initial stage, then he will provide you feedbacks, again you incorporate the feedbacks, and it continuously goes to and fro, to and fro, to and fro, till you reach the final objective. In this process, what happens, you have continuous feedback from your customer, you're continuously catering to the customer's demands, and that is how you're designing your product. So this leads to greater customer satisfaction. Now we'll see an electrical or electronic based case study. So we've seen already a mechanical or an automotive one. Now we saw a software one. Now we'll be going through an electronic one. So development of an infotainment system for a car using agile methodology. So again, here also we'll have requirements and requirement gathering and analysis. Now, just seeing the first step itself, you might have a question in your mind that, okay, this is very similar to waterfall itself, the first stage at least. So please hold on. Uh, Towards the end of Agile, I'll be explaining the exact differences between the two. So just go with the flow for the moment. So requirements gathering and analysis, unlike waterfall approach, just give me one moment. So unlike the waterfall approach, Agile begins with a very high level of understanding of the project's goals and objectives rather than a detailed set of requirements. So in waterfall, what we were more focusing on is understanding the client's requirements, what exactly he needs in the final product. Here we are catering to the client's goals, what he achieves to what he's looking forward from the product to deliver. For example, in the case of developing an infotainment system, the initial goal might be to enhance the in-car entertainment and connectivity experience without specifying all the features in detail. So he might not exactly specify you the features like he wants more sound, more clarity, or something like that. What he will instead tell you that I am looking for better customer experience in terms of infotainment system of the vehicle. He won't give you an exact specific requirement, but he will try to outline his goal that he is trying to achieve. Next, sprint planning. Agile projects are divided into small time boxed iterations called sprints. So, for example, for this infotainment project, we might have, let's say, 10 sprints. So, sprint one might be a period from 1 to 5 days. Again, sprint two might be from 6 to 15 days. So, small time based sprints will be having, which are basically stages of the project development phase. So in this phase, the project team, including developers, design testers, collaboratively decide what features to work on in the upcoming sprint. So for example, you will be setting a set of objectives that you want to achieve in the first sprint. You'll be accomplishing them. Then you'll be setting a set of objectives for sprint 2, sprint 3, etc. So that systematically you can achieve your objectives. So here, as we said, we are talking about enhancing the customer experience for the entire infotainment system. So the first sprint might just include developing the user interface. So again, sprint execution. So whatever you plan in your sprint, you have to execute it. Next, review and feedback. At the end of each sprint, there is a review meeting where the team demonstrates the completed features to the stakeholders. Feedback is collected and adjustments are made on the feedback. Next, iterative development. The project continues with a series of sprints, each building on the previous ones. Features are incrementally developed, tested, and improved based on feedback. So as you might have got an idea, it is a continuous development process. It is not that you develop one feature and it is completed like it was in waterfall methodology. Because once you complete a feature, you will get some suggestions, you will get some improvement points, and again, you have to incorporate them. Next, continuous integration and testing. So throughout the project, there is strong emphasis on continuous integration and testing to ensure. So one sprint, if you're accomplishing the objectives of sprint one, so you also need to test them simultaneously. So if you've developed or enhanced the user interface, you need to test it also after integrating it into the vehicle. Next, release and ongoing improvement. The project is considered complete only when the infotainment system meets the desired level of functionality and quality. However, even after that, agile methodology will encourage you to come out with further updates, further new features, further new enhancements. So after the infotainment system is integrated into the car and released to the market, car manufacturers can continuously release software updates. Like we see Tesla releasing software patches, software updates to fix all the bugs, fix all the shortcomings of the software. So this is the last slide for today. So this is basically the differentiation between, you get clear documented view of the difference between agile and waterfall. So on the left side, we'll have the different parameters: approach, project scopes, requirement, testing, etc. And then you have what exactly happens in both the methodologies. So approach wise, agile is iterative and incremental, whereas waterfall is sequential and linear. It follows a linear trajectory. There is not much scope for, continuous cycle of development. Project scope can be flexible in agile, but it is completely fixed in waterfall. Requirements can change when it comes to agile. However, requirements mostly are defined in the beginning and stay put. Testing, there is an ongoing testing cycle after each and every feature is developed, after each and every sprint is completed. However, in waterfall, the testing will only occur after the entire product is built and finalized. Client involvement, clients can provide feedback and influence the project during the development phase itself. So the client has all the rights to, come in between, let's say 5 or 6 days, and give you a revised set of requirements. However, in waterfall, that is not so. Client involvement is limited to beginning of the project and the end of the project. Next, risk management. Risks are addressed as they arise, providing flexibility in handling unforeseen issues. Risks are identified and addressed at the beginning with less adaptability to change. Delivery time, agile usually will have shorter delivery times, whereas waterfall methodology will generally have longer delivery times. Customer satisfaction, since the customer is involved in the entire product development landscape at each and every sprint, each and every minute stage. So agile methodology generally tends to have more customer satisfaction. And waterfall, yes, it can also have similar, if not more, customer satisfaction, but then that completely depends upon the quality of the product that you are putting it out. Next, quality assurance. Continuous focus on quality throughout the project, and quality assurance will primarily occur in the waterfall methodology at the very end of the project. So some examples of agile methodologies are Scrum, Kanban. I guess you guys might have heard about Scrum certifications, etc. So Scrum Master is nothing but someone who plans the entire, all the sprints I was talking about. And then in waterfall, we have traditional software development methodologies, hardware, very traditional hardware development methodologies. So that brings us an end to day one of the workshop. So these are some of the key highlights that we covered during this workshop. We covered essential aspects of product development, market research, project management. We went through some case studies, some successful examples. We explored real world case studies to illustrate practical and application of these concepts, and key takeaways include the importance of aligning products with customer needs, etc. So that was all from my side for today. Hopefully we'll be starting the workshop tomorrow on time, if not for rain or traffic or some of these unforeseen risks and dangers. So the last time I'll be asking this for today. If you guys are having any further doubts or any further concepts that need to be cleared, you can reach out to me right now, or you can reach out to the coordinator and he or she can send me the requirements and I'll address it in the next session. So for now, any doubts, any clarity of any clarifications required? Anyone? Okay, since I'm not seeing any mics being unmuted, I consider you guys understood everything properly. Okay then, so thank you for the session today and see you guys tomorrow. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you all for participating, for your valuable time and presence. Please take a moment to share your feedback in the feedback form that is provided in the chat box. And we assure you that your input is valued. It will help us improve for the upcoming sessions. Thank you.